Can someone fix this? It's not tight enough. Just falling down, yeah. Thank you. Punjabi Hari. Jaya Radha Madhava Punjabi Hari. Gopijana Vallabha Irivarit Hari. Gopijana Vallabha Irivarit Hari. Yasodanandana Prashajanaranjana Yasodanandana Prashajanaranjana Yamuna Tira Panacha Hari. Yamuna Tira Panacha Hari. Jaya Radha Madhava Punjabi Hari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Nitai Gora Haribo, 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 Nitai Gora Haribo. Jaya Radha Golokananda, Radha Golokananda, Radha Golokananda, Shirade. Jaya Giri Govardhan, Giri Govardhan, Jaya Giri Govardhan, Jaya Giri Govardhan. Shri Radha Golokananda ki jai, Giriraj ki jai, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Jayam Vishnupad Paramam Sapapakaturiyo Stotara Satashi Shrimad. His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Jayam ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Papakacharya Stotara Satashi Shrimad. His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Nam Acharya Swadas Thakur ki jai. Prem Sekaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Shivasadi Gaura Bhakti Vrinda ki jai. Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath, Shamakund Radha Kund, Giri Govardhan ki jai. Shri Vrindavana Dham ki jai. Mathura Dham ki jai, Mayapur Dham ki jai, Navadvip Dham ki jai, Yamuna Mai ki jai, Ganga Mai ki jai, Shrimati Tulasi Devi ki jai, Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pastaya Bhutale, Shrimati Vedananda Goswami Iti Namane. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pastaya Bhutale, Shrimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namane. Namaste Saraswati Devi, Gauravani Prachadine, Nirvishesha Shunyavadi, Pashtashtatine. So we thank all of you, dear devotees, for coming out on this cold January morning, early in the morning, to absorb yourself in the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is always bright and sunny because it is the words coming from the great devotees describing the Supreme Lord and the intricacies of the pastimes. So today we'll continue our study. We're moving right along. We're in the Srimad Bhagavatam, the 10th canto, the 49th chapter. And we are on text number 3. And we had left Vrindavan, we had come to Mathura, and now Akrura is being sent to Hastinapur. So we will be entering into the dynamic of the politics of the palace. Srimad Bhagavatam 10:49-3. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Yatavad Upasangamya. Yatavarupasangamya. 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 Bandhu bear, Bandhu bear, Bandhu bear, Bandhu bear Gandhani Sutaha, Bandhu bear Gandhani Sutaha, Bandhu bear Gandhani Sutaha, Sampristas, Tai, Surir, Vartam, Sampratas Tai Surir Vartam, Sampritas Tai Surir Vartam, Sampratas Tai Surir Vartam, Sampritas Tai Surir Vartam, Swayam, 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 Chaprachad, 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 Avayam, 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 Yataparupasangamya, Bandhubir Gandhani Sutta, Sampratastai Surid Vartam, Swayam Chaparaj Avayam, Swayam Chaparachadavayam, Yataparupasangamya, Bandhubir Gandhani Sutta, Sampratastai Surid Vartam, Swayam Chaparadavayam. Devotees. Yataparupasangamya, Bandhubir Gandhani Sutta, Sampatastai Surid Vartam, Swayam Chapicharavayam, Apavarupasangamya, Bandhubir Gandhani Sutta, Sampratastai Surid Vartam, Swayam Chapracharavayam, Yatavarapasangamya, Bandhubir Gandhani Sutta, Sampratastai Surid Vartam, Yam Chaparat Avayam. Anyone else? Okay, we'll go on to the synonyms. Yatavat, appropriately. Upasangamya, meeting. Bandhubi, with his relatives and friends. Gandhani Sutta, Akrura, son of Gandhini. Samprasta, inquired from. Tai, by them. Surit, of their dear ones. Vartam, for news. Swayam, himself. Cha, in addition. Apachat, asked. Anyayam, about their well-being. Translation by the disciples of A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. After Akrura, the son of Gandhini, had appropriately greeted all his relatives and friends, they asked him for news of their family members, and he in turn asked about their welfare. You can repeat. After Akrura, the son of Gandhini, had appropriately greeted all his relatives and friends. They asked him for news of their family members, and he in turn asked about their welfare. So there's not a purport by the disciples, but there is some very brief commentary. Vishwanath Chakrabarti Thakur in 1049.3 says, Akrura asked about the welfare, avayam, imperishability. Jiva Goswami, 1049.3, according to etiquette, he met the elders offering respects and mixing with them with affection. They asked about the health of the Yadavas, Surid Vartanam, with affection, Sam Pristaha, as well as making him comfortable as a guest according to the rules. And Sanatana Goswami, calling him Gandhini Sutta, suggests that he knew Dharma. Thus, he respected the elders by obeisances, equals by embraces, and inferiors by giving blessings. Yatavat upasangam yam. He met all with affection. They asked about the Yadu Sarit Vartam with affection and according to rules in welcoming guests. Om Agena Dimidandasya Gena Gena Shalakaya Chaksu Militanyena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. I offer my respectful obeisances unto all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord, who can fulfill the desires are like desire trees and open our eyes with the torchlight of knowledge, removing the darkness of ignorance. So this is the Srimad Bhagavatam. It teaches us, not only is it pastimes and stories, but it teaches us how to apply in our own life. I offer my respectful obeisances unto my Diksha Guru, unto my Shiksha Gurus, unto Srila Prabhupada, and unto our Guru Varga. And I beg Srila Prabhupada to allow me to share. He said we should hear nicely, we should deliberate upon what we hear, and then we should be able to speak it in our own words. So last night, I had sent my spiritual master, His Holiness Hridayananda Maharaj, a little text message with a Happy New Year. And I mentioned to him we were working on this part of the Srimad Bhagavatam, and we were coming to the pastimes of the Pandavas. And he said, he said right now he was working on the Mahabharata, but on the earlier pastimes. So I was feeling gratitude because yesterday, and when we started reading this, we read the different names. And like when we were studying Bhagavad Gita, Gita Jayanti, we read about all these names. So to someone, it might just seem there's all these names on a page, in the Srimad Bhagavatam and the Bhagavad Gita. But these are personalities. And it's very interwoven. The different relationships are very interwoven, and who they are, and how this drama will play out. Because we have to remember that Krishna was called to come, the Supreme Lord was called to come to the earth because there were the demoniac forces that were actually taking birth here. They wanted to use the earth like a Star Wars place, they said, like a place to gather their forces. And at that time, the earth looked like a very good place to do this because all the Kshatriyas had been slain. And because the Kshatriyas had been slain, the kings that were ruling at that particular time, their fathers had been Brahmanas because all the men had been slain. And so they were just Brahmin men that the Kshatriya women had children with. So the earth was being ruled by rulers that were very mode of goodness and peaceful. They weren't interested in fighting and war. So at that time, these different personalities came to the earth and they took birth in these different kingdoms. And as we go on in the Bhagavatam, as we study the Bhagavad Gita, what leads to the war of the Kurukshetra, we find out who's who. So here, we see in our previous chapter, we were hearing about how kind Krishna is to his devotees. And we saw how Krishna went and fulfilled the desire of Trivakara. And then how he went to the home of Akrura and he was reciprocating. And then he asked Akrura to do some service for him. So this is also here, we're speaking about etiquette. So we come and we hear from spiritual personalities and we are given some reciprocation, but then we're meant to engage in some service. There's a reciprocation. And when we engage in service, then there's that realization. So I was meditating here on these different personalities. Here, it's speaking here about how Akrura, he used the proper etiquette. So he was sent on a mission, kind of like an espionage mission, because Krishna, he was so concerned. How are my relatives doing? Not because of material attachment, because he knew that they were in a very precarious situation. So Akrura, he is the uncle of Krishna. And here it talks about the son of Gandhini. So he is the uncle of Krishna through the maternal side, through the mother side. And Kunti is actually the aunt of Krishna. And she's the aunt of Krishna through the paternal side. She's the sister of Vasudeva. And in Mathura, Vasudeva was the father of Krishna. We're not speaking about Raj, speaking about Mathura. So this Kunti is an amazing personality. And when you know more of the history, as it will unfold, we read about Kunti in the first canto of the Bhagavatam, when Krishna is getting ready to leave Hastinapura. And she was saying, let all these calamities come again and again, because we can have your association. So because Krishna, he has so much love, he's saying, let me go see, let me send Akrura there on an espionage. So he's coming, and he's offering respects to everyone. Dhritarashtra, all the characters that are going to actually cheat the Pandavas, are going to cause so much havoc. But he sends Akrura to go and evaluate what is actually going on there. And so Akrura, he follows the etiquette. He doesn't just come in like, hey, you guys, I heard you're up to some nonsense. He comes in, he offers etiquette. So we see the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself follows this. We see in the pastimes of Lord Ram, who comes like this, in Marietta, he's coming to actually show what is the proper etiquette in this world as a dharma. So he comes and he offers all respects, So even when his father sends him to be banished to the forest, and Lakshman is saying, don't listen to that old man. Lakshman's Balaram, and Nityananda gets fired up. Don't listen to him. Let's just kill him. You take over the throne. He's like, no, he's my father. I've given my father my word. I must follow my word. And even when he's banished, because Kaikeyi was influenced by bad association, even when he's banished, he still offers respects. Oh, she's my mother. I must follow. So it's not that we should follow blindly, but we can understand that there's etiquette, and the etiquette is there actually to create some harmony within society. So how do we apply etiquette in our own life? Sometimes we come from a culture that's like the Wild West. It's just, you say whatever you want to say, especially now with the internet. Just say whatever you want to say, do whatever you want to do. Everybody's equal. So we understand equality is there on the level of the soul. But also there's that need for proper respect. So traditionally there was respect for the parents. There was respect for seniors. There was respect for teachers. And this created a society where people can function. And there was also a way of properly showing etiquette. So just like in our own situation, the etiquette is when you see a sannyasi, you offer obeisances to a sannyasi. And we're offering obeisances to how, Krishna's in the heart of every living entity, and we appreciate the service of a sannyasi. It's for our own benefit. So we see respecting those that are spiritually more advanced than us. It's for our own benefit, and how we interact, and that's explained in the Nectar of Instruction, how we interact with devotees that are superior to us, where we offer some service, we take guidance from them, how we interact with friends, that we joke, we have, reveal our minds and confidence, and how we interact with those that we need to be merciful to. So this etiquette is actually there, and it creates for a proper understanding. So Akrura, he's going there to find out what's really going on. And there's such a history with this because Dhritarashtra and Pandu, they were brothers. And Dhritarashtra was the older brother, but because his mother, when Vyasadeva was sent to impregnate her because the actual husband had passed away and the dynasty needed to continue, Vyasadeva was a sage just coming out of meditation. And Satyavati, she was thinking, this has to be done now, because he said, no, you should wait a year, let her prepare herself and chant, become purified. But said, no, it has to be done now. So she closed her eyes, and for that reason, Dhritarashtra was blind. But as we'll see in the next verse, he wasn't just blind visually, he was blind spiritually, because he had affection for those that were of demoniac mentality. He was actually influenced by bad association. And then Pandu, his mother was fearful, so she turned white. So Pandu was white. But Pandu was very pious. He was a very pious personality, very pious king. He was loved by everyone. But the Kshatriyas, they're given certain leniences. They were given to be able to hunt, not just to kill, but to hunt because that way they can practice the martial arts, and also to have more than one wife. So this hunting and this polygamy, it led to so much difficulty when you read the different pastimes. So he was hunting, and one day he went to shoot a deer, and what happened was that deer was actually a great sage. It was a Brahmana sage and his wife, and they wanted to have a child, and they had taken on that form. And so then, when they were shot, they cursed him. He was cursed. He said, because when we were about to have a child, you shot us and we left our body, the husband left his body. Then if you go to embrace your wife, you will die immediately. So upon getting this curse, Pandu, he went to the forest, and he was living in the forest with his two wives, Kunti and Madri. He had two wives. He was living in the forest with them. So after a period of time, he wanted to have progeny, he wanted to have children, not because of sense gratification, but he wanted that the dynasty should go on. And it was very important this dynasty was ruling. It should have proper rulers. So he wanted the dynasty should go on. But he was, kind of bereft. So Kunti was the older wife. There's Kunti and Madri. And Kunti was a very interesting personality, because in her youth, she had pleased, I think it was Devasumuni, she had pleased him by her service. And she was given a boon that whatever demigod you call will come. Whatever demigod you call will come. So she decided to try it out. And she called the sun god. And then the sun god came, and she's like, I was just joking, I was joking. This is when she was very young. So then she immediately became pregnant. Things were different in those days. And she's thinking, what am I going to do? I'm not married or anything. And he goes, well, you'll again become a virgin, et cetera, et cetera. And so then the sun god left, and she immediately had a baby. And that baby was Karna. And we'll read later in the Bhagavad Gita, in the Mahabharata, the role that Karna plays. He doesn't know he's Kunti's son. He doesn't know he's a brother of the Pandavas. The whole Mahabharata, it's like a real drama of pathos, He doesn't know this. And so he actually takes the side of Duryodhana, because Duryodhana gives him some position in the kingdom. So then what happens is Kunti, she remembers this boon. And when Pandu was lamenting about what happened and how he can't have any children, she remembered the boon and she told him about it. And so they said, let's call the demigods, So the demigods were called. And from the demigods being called, Arjuna, there was Yudhisthira, and there was Bhima. They all came from the different demigods. So they would, along with that, they had great power. Great power. They're the sons of the demigods, the sun god. I mean, the wind god, and Indra of heaven, and Dharmaraj. That's why Yudhishthira is always so attached to Dharma. See, when your name has a lot to mean to it, Dharma. So they came from that. And then Madri, the younger wife, was like, well, I want to have some children too. Can't the boon be used for me? So then she said, all right. But then Madri cheated. She called the twin, Aswinis? Aswini Kumar, who were the physicians, the heavenly physicians. And so then she had 2 sons. So anyway, just to get up to where we are in the Bhagavatam, so they're all living. These Pandavas, they were the sons of the demigods. And everybody was living very peacefully. They weren't raised in the palace. They weren't raised like Kshatriyas, like palace intrigue. They were raised amongst the sages and the brahmanas. They lived in the forest. Life was very peaceful. They lived in the forest, and they learned about everything from these great sages and yogis. But then one day, Pandu had some attraction towards Madri. The winds were blowing, Krishna arranged it, the winds were blowing, and Madri was very beautiful, and he went running after her, and then he embraced her, and he left his body. And so there the Pandavas were. This is like, talk about trauma. Their father's gone. And so then Madri is there with Kunti, and in those days they had the right where the woman, if the husband leaves, she just wants to jump into the flames with him, the sati right. And Madri said, no, it was me that he was going afterwards. I must go. And then she said, and besides that, Kunti, you're the one who can take care of all of our sons equally. I can't. If I stay, I will see your sons as different than mine. So this is a very important point, because we see Kunti, she was able to treat all the sons as her own, to be concerned for everyone's welfare, not for her own. And even though she loved Pandu like anything, and she'd already been through so much trauma, but she was willing to sacrifice everything to take care of the Pandavas. And Madri, she gave up her life and went with Pandu. So here's Kunti with these 5 boys. And then Uncle Dhritarashtra brings them to Hastinapura. So they're orphans, and they're with their mother, who's been through so much. And instead of being brought there by their relatives and treated with love and devotion and raised, there was envy. because Duryodhana was the son of Dhritarashtra. Dhritarashtra was blind. He was sitting on the role of being the king, but he did not have the qualities of being the king. And we see that Akrura brings a message from Krishna and Balaram that if you want to be remembered in a wonderful way, you should treat everyone equally. That's what it means to be a king. But he couldn't, because he was influenced by bad association. He was overly attached to his son, and his son was demoniac, and because of that, he took on those qualities. He wasn't able to be like Kunti. Kunti was able to see all sons as being equal, but he couldn't. He wanted his sons, and he wanted them to rule. So as we know, there was so many atrocities. There was a house of shellac. They tried to burn them, but Vidura, who was the other uncle, Vidura, saved the day, letting them know, and he had a tunnel for them to escape in. There was poisoning, so many different ways he tried to destroy them. They were banished in so many ways. So this leads up to the point here where we are, where Akrura is being sent, and he's going to come back, and after a few months, and he's going to report to Krishna what he sees. Because as we said previously, Krishna is so loving to his devotees and so concerned that he's very concerned what's happening to these boys. They were just living in the forest, and now here they are living in this palace, and there's all these intrigues. And this will actually lead up to the Battle of Kurukshetra. And in that particular pastime, we'll see that so many on both sides will leave their body. So I was going to go to the next verse, but I probably should leave it for the next. But what the point I wanted to bring out was that because of bad association, because of attachment and bad association. So it's so important that we actually, not only do we follow proper etiquette, but we also guard ourselves from bad association. And in this particular day and age that we're living in, bad association could come in so many different ways. And one of the main ones that is stressed to us is through fault finding and criticism and hearing offenses of Vaishnavas. So this is something that we have to really guard ourselves against. And here we see how Akrura, he's offering respects to everyone appropriately. So this etiquette, it's not just something that's old-fashioned or something that we can get rid of, but it's something that's really needed within our Vaishnava society. And His Holiness Bhakti Swami, he had a whole course he used to give, and it was on Vaishnava etiquette, how to properly interact with the devotees of the Lord. What is the proper etiquette even with the deities? Like when we come in the temple, we offer respects to Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada is watching over everything here. So many times there have been people come in and they're not familiar with what a murti is or a deity form. And who's that man was sitting in your temple room? So Prabhupada is actually watching over everything. How is everything going here at the temple? So we offer respects to Prabhupada. We offer respects to Srimati Tulsi Devi, because Tulsi Devi is arranging for all the pastimes of Radha and Krishna. And if we can please Tulsi Devi, we could also be involved. So we see there's the etiquette. We first approach the spiritual master, our previous acharyas. We beg Tulsi Devi for mercy. And even when we chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, we chant Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda. We approach the Panchatattva, because by approaching the Panchatattva, our own heart becomes purified, and then we can chant the holy name. Then we could associate with Radha and Krishna. So I just wanted to read, one thing I wanted to read from the Bhagavad Gita was, I wanted to read about the divine and demoniac natures. This is from and this is Bhagavad Gita 16, verse 6. Okay. Dau bhuta sagolokosmin daivasura evacha daivavistadasha prokta asuram partameshinu. O son of Prita, in this world there are two kinds of created beings. One is called the divine and the other demoniac. I've already explained to you at length the divine qualities. Now hear from me of the demoniac. Lord Krishna, having assured Arjuna that he was born with the divine qualities, is now describing the demoniac way. The conditioned living entities are divided into two classes in this world. Those who are born with divine qualities follow a regulated life. That is to say, they abide by the injunctions in scriptures and by the authority. So here, the etiquette again is following. One should perform duties in the light of authoritative scripture. This mentality is called divine. One who does not follow the regulative principles as they are laid down in the scriptures and who acts according to his whims is called demoniac or asuric. There is no criterion but obedience to the regulative principles of scriptures. It is mentioned in Vedic literature that both the demigods and the demons are born of the Prajapati. The only difference is that one class obeys the Vedic scriptures and the other does not. So sometimes one might think, well, Vaidhi Bhakti is just following the rules and regulations. I want to be on Raganuga platform. I want to be spontaneous in my devotional service. But unless one has actually become purified, then they're still acting in what's called the mental chariot. And their spontaneity is something that's whimsical. It's not that something that's pleasing to Krishna. So even someone who is on the Raganuga platform, they're not doing what they do out of fear of the scriptures, or I have to do it. But it's just they naturally do it. But at the same time, to set an example for others, they follow the different rules and regulations. But they're doing it with devotion. So it's explained that by engaging in devotional service, by the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we can enter into the Raganuga platform, but everything has to be step by step, which has been shown to us by our previous acharyas. This is another very important point. Prativimna vivitam cha janana vidu asuraha nasocham napi chacharo nasacham teshu vijate. Those who are demoniac do not know what is to be done and what is not to be done. Neither cleanliness nor proper behavior nor truth is found in them. In every human society, there is some set of scriptural rules and regulations which is followed from the beginning, especially among the Aryans. Those who adopt the Vedic civilization are known as the most advanced peoples. Those who do not follow the scriptural injunctions are supposed to be demons. Therefore, it is stated here that the demons do not know the scriptural rules, nor do they have any inclination to follow them. Most of them do not know them, and even if some of them know them, they have not the tendency to follow them. They have no faith, nor are they willing to act in terms of Vedic injunctions. The demons are not clean, either externally or internally. One should always be careful to keep his body clean by bathing, brushing his teeth, shaving, changing clothes. As far as internal cleanliness is concerned, one should always remember the holy names of God and chant, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So I just wanted to bring up these few points, the importance of following Vaishnava etiquette, the importance of respecting each other, and the importance of developing, by the mercy of our Srila Prabhupada, developing godly qualities so that we are not influenced, as we will see Dhritarashtra is by external attachment. So thank you very much, and I thank my spiritual master for all the classes I heard in the Mahabharata. So it was nice to be able to share. Hare Krishna. Thank you. I know I wanted to, but it was too much once you get into telling the history, because not everybody knows the history. No.
Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Enam Kanvandam Maravindadalaya Taksham Varhavatam Samasitam Buddhasundarangam Nandar Agom Vidamaniya Vishesha Shobham Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Angani Yasa Sakale Priya Priti Manti Vasyan Dipan Dikayanti Chiram Naganti Ananda Chinmaya Sadhu Jala Vigrahasya Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami 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 Govindam.
Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Dayate Radhe Jaya 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 Radhe Jaya Jaya Gokula Tarani Mandala Mahite Gokula Tarani Mandala Mahite Gokula Tarani Mandala Mahite Gokula Tarani Mandala Mahite Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Dayate Radhe Jaya Madhava Dayate Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Dayate Radhe Jaya Jaya Dayate Damadara Rati Vardhana Veshe Harini Skuta Brinda Vipineshe Damadara Rati Vardhana Veshe Harini Skuta Brinda Vipineshe Damadara Rati Vardhana Veshe Harini Skuta Brinda Vipineshe Damodara Rati Vardhana Veshe Harini Skuta Brinda Vipineshe Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Dayate Radhe Jaya Madhava Dayate Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Dayate Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Dayate Vijabhanu Dati Navajashi Leke Lalita Sakti Guna Ramita Vishake No Vijabhanu Dati Navajashi Leke Lalita Sakti Guna Ramita Vishake Vijabhanu Leke Lalita Sakti Guna Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Dayate Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Dayate Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Dayate Radhe Jaya Madhava Dayate Karunam Kurumai Karuna Bharate Sanaka Sanatana Varnita Charite Karunam Kurumai Karuna Bharate Sanaka Sanatana Varnita Karunam Kurumai Karuna Bharate Sanaka Sanatana Varnita Charite Karunam Kurumai Karuna Bharate Sanaka Sanatana Varnita Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Dayate 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 Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Shri Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Shri Radhe 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 Jai 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 Shri Radhe 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 Jai Shri Radhe 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 Jai Jai Shri Radhe 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 Jai Shri Radhe 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 Jai 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 Shri Radhe 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 Jai Shri Radhe 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 Jai 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 Shri Radhe 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 Jai Jai Shri Radhe Jaya Radha Golokananda Radha Golokananda Radhe Jaya Radha Kananda Radha Golokananda Radha Jaya Radha Golokananda, Radha Golokananda, Radhe. Radha Golokananda, Radha Golokananda, Jaya Giri Govardhan, Giri Govardhan, Giri Govardhan, Jaya Giri Govardhan, Jaya Giri Govardhan, Giri Govardhan, Jaya Giri Govardhan, Jaya Giri Govardhan, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Shri Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Shri Radhe. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Shri Gaura ki jai, Shri Shri Radha Golokananda ki jai, Jai 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 Shri Radhe Sham. Oh Radha, all glories unto you, all glories unto you, beloved of Madhava, object of worship for all the young girls of Gokula. You dress yourself in such a way as to increase Lord Damodar's love and attraction for you. Lord Vrindavan, the pleasure grows of Lord Hari. You are the new moon arisen, the ocean of King Rishabhanu. You are the friend of the, and your wonderful qualities, faith, friendliness, kindness, and faithfulness to Krishna endear you to Vishaka. You are an ocean of compassion, and your divine characteristics are described by the four Kumaras, Sanaka, Sanatana, Sananda, and Sanat Kumara. O Radha, please be merciful to me. Sri Rupa Goswami ki jai. Chaito Darpanam Marjanam Agni Nirvapanam Shreya Kairavya Chandrika Vicharanam Vidyavadu Jivanam Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam Swadanam Sarvatma Snapanam Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam Nam Namakar Uda Nija Sarva Shakti Tatrapitani Amita Smarnena Kala Ekadrishita Vakripa Bhagavan Mamapi Durdaiva Midrishami Hajjani Nanuraga Trinadapi Sunichena Tarorapi Suhishuna Amani Namana Dana Kirtaniya Sadahari Nadanam Najanam Nasundarim Kavitam Va Jagadisha Kamahe Mama Janmani Janmani Ishvare Bhavatad Bhaktir Ohaitaki Twai Ainanda Tanujukimiram Patitam Mam Vishame Bhavam Budao Kribayata Vavada Pankaja Stita Duli Sadrashim Vachintaya Nayanam Gadashrudaraya Mananam Gadgadridaya Gira Pulakarnishitam Vapukada Tavanamagrahane Bhavishyati Yugayatam Nimishena Chakshusha Pravashayatam Shunayatam Jagat Sarvam Govindam Virahename Ashlisha Vapadamratam Panastumam Adarshanam Marmahatakarotuva Yatatata Bhavadatulam Mat Prananatastu Sa Evanapara. Victory to the Sri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life of repeated birth and death. This Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss, and it enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious. O my Lord, congregational chanting of your holy name alone can render all benediction to living beings, and thus you have hundreds and millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. In these names you have invested all your transcendental energies. Not even hard to fast the rules to chant these names. O my Lord, you enable us to easily approach you by your holy names, but I am so unfortunate that I have no attraction for them. One should chant the holy name of the Lord, a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw on the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and should be ready to offer In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. O Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. I only want your cause of devotional service, birth after birth. O son of Maharaj Nanda, as somehow or other I fall into the ocean of birth and death, please pick me up from this ocean of death and place me as one of the atoms at your lotus feet. Oh, my Lord, when will my eyes be decorated with tears of love flowing constantly when I chant your holy name? When will my voice choke up, and when will the hairs of my body stand on end at the recitation of your name? O Govinda, feeling your separation, I am considering a moment to be like 12 years or more. Tears are flowing from my eyes like torrents of rain, and I am feeling all vacant in the world in your absence. I know no one but Krishna is my Lord, and he shall remain so, even if he handles me roughly by his embrace or makes me brokenhearted by not being present before me. He's free to do anything and everything, for he's always my worshipful Lord unconditionally. Haribo. Hare Krishna. It's, today, Bhagavatam class, I was thinking just how fortunate we all are to be able to hear this nectar scripture every day. So, for those of you who are listening online also, it's so important that we hear every day, and we're so fortunate to be able to study step by step this wonderful book, Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.